Ladies and gentlemen, whether people like it or not, the Gen Zs and millennials have made a great impact in the country. Everybody has to see what the president is doing and relate it closely with what the Gen Zs and millennials want from him. Now, how did this come to this position that we are as a country? We had Ruto taking over the country in 2022. Actually, after that, we had the Finance Bill 2023, which had so many controversial things, but later on, Ruto managed to achieve some of his things that he felt were okay with Kenyans. Now, despite of his achievements, we had so many people complaining about the Finance Bill 2023, where some of the professionals in the country, including teachers and doctors, complaining of what we call the housing levy. Now, after that, we had our parents complaining of various things that happened during the Ruto's regime, including the increment of fees, abolition of Linda Mama, and many other things in the country. Now, some of the groups that were affected most by these measures by the government are the millennials who are in campus, some of them, and the Gen Zs actually who are in campus, and some of them also are finished right now. Now, this made the Kenyans to develop anger, and the Gen Zs and millennials came to the streets just as a reaction of the whole country, where everybody was really bitter with William Ruto's measures of over-taxation. Now, after that, when the Finance Bill 2024 is introduced, the Gen Zs led the army to reject the Finance Bill 2024. The millennials joined, and the rest of the country was in support, despite they didn't come out to the streets. We had the Gen Z starting on online platforms. The millennials joined, and we ensured that the president has heard our message that we reject the Finance Bill 2024. The president did not listen to the ground, just as he has been doing before. Now then, we had these people who are the Gen Zs and millennials proceeding to the streets to protest. The protest happened not once, not twice, but several times, which led to the culmination of that point where these Gen Zs and millennials entered the Parliament of Kenya. As a result, we had so many people dying, and actually it has been a conversation worldwide on why the president had to allow for the Gen Zs and millennials to go up to Parliament for him to reject the Finance Bill 2024. Now, after the entrance of the Gen Zs and millennials to Parliament, the president since then has been making various decisions that are affecting the country, particularly those people in government. One of them was to announce the measures that are going to curb the expenditure in the government, and now he has summed it up by talking about dissolving the cabinet completely. Ladies and gentlemen, before I dissect on this topic of why the president decided to dissolve the cabinet today, kindly, if this is the first time you're watching our videos, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, because that's the best support you can always give this channel. Now, after the dissolution of government of the cabinet today by the president of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, I had a few things that really rang in my mind as to why the president could have done that at this point. One of the things that I want to quote here, the first one is the incompetence that he has realized in his cabinet secretary. It's not the first time the president has warned his cabinet secretaries of incompetence. There's a time he held a meeting in State House, and he was telling his cabinet secretaries that they have to work and let him not be so much informed about their specific dockets more than they are. And that was a warning shot to the cabinet secretaries. In the current regime, we've heard the cabinet secretaries speaking arrogant to the people of Kenya. And actually the protest that occurred was a result of the arrogance that we are seeing from some of the cabinet secretaries, including Alfred Mutua, who does not put the interest of the people of Kenya at heart. Going forward, there have been issues to do with the corruption in the country. The cabinet secretaries of Kenya are now very rich, acquiring properties here and there, doing so many things and living extravagant lives while Kenyans are suffering. And this also contributed immensely to what the people were talking about in the streets. Another factor that I feel that has driven to Ruto to make this decision, it is the aspect of the intelligence of Kenya. The NIS has spoken the right things to Ruto right now as we talk. One of the things that the NIS have spoken to Ruto is that the country people are losing hope in him because of the competency of the cabinet secretaries that he's having. People are also not trusting him because of the way his cabinet secretaries keep working. Now, checking on what is happening currently in the country, I think the NIS spoke to the president and told him that the only thing that you can do is to restore hope of Kenyans by dissolving the cabinet and showing them that you have to start afresh to ensure that you brought on good people who are going to work. Another factor that you can't rule out, of course, is the fact of the Gen Zs and millennials who have constantly spoken that we want the president to act. And as we talk today, the president has now, according to me, made the first tangible act to ensure that the cabinet is waking up to the realization of the dreams and the hopes of the Kenyan people. What are the expectations of the people of Kenya as far as the dissolution of the cabinet of William Ruto is concerned? The first thing I feel is that the people of Kenya expect William Ruto to reappoint cabinet secretaries, people and individuals in Kenya who are very competent. That is one of the things that people expect from him. Because one of the things that people are complaining about is that the president is overworking himself and the cabinet secretaries are not delivering in their respective dockets as it's expected by the public. Another thing is the restoration of the services that were abolished with his cabinet, one of them being Linda Mama. Women in the country right now are complaining that going to deliver, in particular in the private hospitals where services are slightly better, it's very expensive to a tune of even 20,000 shillings to deliver a child, something that never used to happen during Uru's time, because Linda Mama used to cover both the private and the public hospitals. Now, the public expects that should be restored. Another thing, the country is expecting William Ruto to streamline the service delivery in the country, particularly the sectors like education, where the cabinet secretary has been accused of not knowing what he's doing. The dockets like that of health, where we have been saying that Nakumicha is sleeping on a job, and actually having some other dockets like that of interior, where we feel that there are some decisions that have been made, like now threatening Kenyans when they're going to the streets instead of giving them proper guidelines on how to conduct their protest in the country. Another thing that Kenyans are expecting from him is for him to restore hope of Kenyans. People really want to see William Ruto say this, and he does it. Whatever he thinks, he does, and also he speaks the same thing. Those are what I expect the people of Kenya to currently to speak to William Ruto through various platforms, because I feel they affect the people's livelihood seriously. My name is Abel Mukwa. If currently this is the first time you're watching our videos, make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment, because that's the best support you can always give this channel. See you next time.